Hello folks, this is Master Corporal Moore, and today I'm going to bring you an arty review. I understand there's a lot of hatred out there for artillery, either in driving them because of how inconsistent they can be, and being on the receiving end, because I've been on that end as well, where I suddenly get balanced out of the game. So I'm not going to get into a huge discussion on what the pros and cons of artillery are. However, I'm going to give you a quick review on some success stories on them. So this battle here is on mines. Now, a lot of people have a difficulty trying to decide where to play. There's some very typical spots that you're going to find people back in the A1 behind the rock here, A2 behind the rock there. Sometimes you get them up on top of this ledge in the bushes area. Down here, you've got a spot in behind this building, behind this building, behind that building. But really, there's very limited spots. I've got a couple of places I like to play particularly, so I can support the team appropriately. My favorite spot from this side is right here, and there's some difficulties to it. You'll see where I struggle a little bit more later on in the battle. So I do use the Gmod, the artillery assistant, and I kind of try to snapshot that entrance there, waste it around. Of course, the round went directly to the edge of my reticle, which is very common. Now I'm going to be very calm as I do a reload. Now my reload on this is right around 26, 27 seconds, something like that. So the one nice thing about the French arty is you can get a lot of shots out. You can see there I was trying to decide, do I want to take out the IS-3A or do I want to work on the 46KR? I know there's a lot of tanks that were shooting at the IS-3A. That's why I decided the 46R, but now that he's in a better position, I'm going to try to focus him down, depending on if he stays lit. Now, it'd be really nice if these two got together and I could hit one and splash the other, but not going to happen, so I balanced the first one out of the game. Now, there is some time between shots here. Like I said, the Batchat 155-55 shoots about every 26, 27 seconds, so I do get a lot of shots in. Now, on average, I'm going to say the most damage I normally do is somewhere around 300 to 450. Most of the time, it's not doing big hits like you see from a GC or from a 53-55 or anything like that. However, once in a while, somebody gives you a nice clean shot into their side, and you can get a bingo. And I cheered in TeamSpeak on that one and upset a few guys. So now, the one reason why I like this position here on the one line is because I do have those side shots on. Now, that rock kind of gets in the way, so you got to kind of plan where you're parking, and I kind of move the tank back and forth, getting my reticle over the rock. And I want to try to put some rounds into this IS-6 to help support my team here. And that's a little bit of a high average. So like I said, normally I expect to see about 300 to 450 damage most times that I shoot. So, getting a nice shot like that. Now, it was a juicy shot into the back of him, which is probably why it did so well. And he's staying lit, so I'm going to keep on trying to get shots on him, and he's in a decent position, and he disappeared, back in, and there you go, less than 300. So there, I just averaging those two shots, probably about 400 damage. And again, that's about what I would expect to see on a normal basis. So I'd like to try to keep focusing this guy down. He still has enough hit points that's worthwhile me sending a big round at him. But he's low enough on hit points that I might even be able to finish him off. And as I said, this round was a pretty good round, so I've actually averaged a little bit above norm. So there's a few one-shots there. I like not aiming for them because I have the potential of doing a lot of damage. So it's always a battle emotionally. Do you want to get the kills and take guns off the field, or do you want to maximize the potential of your rounds and try to go for the hit points? Now, I'm hoping that the tanks with a faster rate of fire and so on are more likely to focus down the low hit point guys. That being said, if they're in a very safe position that they can't get to, that low hit point can really cause an issue. So this 54 is almost done here, but he has taken out my guy. And I'm not sure if he's tracked right now, but now again, I don't like going after low hit points normally, but you got to get a gun out of the field, especially somebody like that. He's in a very centralized position. He can spot a lot of your team. So at this point, there's not a lot I can do. I've already done over 3,900 damage, almost 4,000 damage. The previous match before this, I did 4,200 damage and lost. So at this point, I'm already thinking, okay, great. This is being an excellent match. We're in the lead right now, but they have some very high hit point tanks right now. Now keep in mind, the further away you shoot from yourself with your artillery, the less likely you're going to be to hit. And when it goes right to the edge of your reticle, there's no chance you're going to hit anything. So the 46 KR is kind of already safe there. I just noticed a tree fall down in the back there. Wish I had noticed that a little bit sooner. Maybe I would have aimed back there and gone for the arty. And they're going to keep this T30 lit. And the further away it is, the more likely I'm just going to aim right for the center of mass, rather than, if they're closer, I'd rather aim more for the engine deck. However, with how RNG this aim is, especially since, I mean, you're trying to shoot so far away, it's very hard for me to argue the point of being very accurate. You know, the whole American Sniper, aim small, miss small. In this case, it doesn't really apply. I'm going to do damage if I hit, and you know, maybe it'll go wide and hit them in the engine deck. So the tree down there, I'm going to assume that's the 46 KR peeking around. And this is where it gets really slow for arty in the later stages, because now you're waiting for them to be lit. They're playing a lot safer. And as you see there, you know, aim straight at them, and it went right to the edge of the reticle. So somebody took down the T30. I didn't notice who got him. But now I'm stuck where that STI down here is going to be proxy spotting anything that's on that ridge line. And then the 46 is definitely already safe. So I decide to aim up into this area here and see if I can't find the arty in one of these spots where I was suggesting he could be. So at this point, all you can do is hope you can see the tracer. There are some illegal mods out there that I do not endorse, where it'll actually give you a red dot on where the actual arty shot from. But if you pay attention, you can actually see the shot come from the corner. Now watching this replay, I just saw it come from right here, and I missed that in the actual gameplay, but I saw this one in gameplay. And of course, I hit the top of the building. What good is that going to do? So at this point, I've done 4,300 damage, and to say that I've driven the pace of the game would be an understatement. Definitely made some very key changes to the pace of the battle, taking out that Tiger II early, doing some heavy damage to the 46 KR and the IS-3A, getting him finished off rather than allowing him to peek around the corner and stay hull down. And again, you know, position is key. So at this point, I should have already moved earlier. But I decided to stay where I was and try to hunt down the arty, because the arty is going to be utilizing the forward spotters there. And at this point, I decide, okay, it's time to move on. It's time for me to try to figure out if there's something else I can do for the team here. So if I can sneak straight down this one line, get down in here, I'll have shots onto the STI. You know, this is something that a medium tank would do, is getting down to a better position. So when you're in an arty, especially a maneuverable arty like this one, don't be afraid to try that. if you get a shot, this 46 KR is now going to be in a position where I might be able to hook a shot around the corner here. And I blind shot because I want to get into a better position, but I'm loaded and figure it's a good chance for me to take that shot. Now you'll notice I am staying really close to the edge. As you can see by my spotting rings, I'm right on the outside of being spotted by the STI, and them seeing me would be a very bad thing indeed. So there's the 46 KR, he's on 429, and the STI is on a lot more hit points. Now the STI is going to be creating a much more difficult situation, so I want to make him afraid of being there. I want him to be forced on a decision. And now you can see I aimed a little bit further back on that one so I could hit the engine, and I did get that extra 61 damage for the fire. I'm guessing he has an automatic fire extinguisher, which on a Russian tank probably isn't a bad idea. So you try to predict where they're heading to. They can only go about 30 seconds away, and obviously he's not really paying close attention to where I was shooting from because he stayed in a very strong position for me to be able to get him. So taking him out, now I'm going after the 46 KR. I'm prepared that I can do a blind shot if I have to. If he's still sitting in the same spot, he hasn't been spotted elsewhere, so I can assume that he is. And nope, he's decided to YOLO out and take out our 46 KR that was spotting him earlier. It's a great idea for him to do that, however, it's a little bit too late. Had he done that sooner, the 46 KR would not have tracked that STI. I would not have hit him so hard, and I more than likely would have missed. So that 46 KR made a very strong or very horrible decision to do that. So now I see the one already was there. The other one was back in the back corner. My team's now calling for the Rumba to try to spot, and I'm looking at it as, okay, well, why don't I do it? I've got just as good a chance of getting into the cap circle, forcing the RD to push around, and the Rumba, who's going to be too afraid to do it, take him out or something. So again, the one thing I really like about this tank is the fact that it's got a turret, so you don't have to break your camo net. Now, I wish I did have camo on it, but I don't play the arty enough to really warrant putting camo on it. My tier 10 I will. If I'm doing a lot of missions, I will probably put camo on it because I'll be running it a lot, but it's very hard on your win 8 because you can't always count on doing 5,140 damage in a battle. A lot of time you are going to end up doing 1,200, 1,400 damage if you're lucky. Maybe only getting one shot off and then a YOLO scout coming through and ruining your match. And yeah, like I said, Rumba was totally ready, the arty was totally ready, so me moving up to spot was the perfect choice. You have a Mastery Badge Ace Tanker in the Bat Chat 155.55. That's the best battle I've had in the tank, which is why I want to do a review on it. High caliber, Gores Medal. Of course, that comes hand in hand with the amount of damage you did. Top tank on the team. I wish I was on Artillery 15 for the T55 right now, because I think that would have finished it off right there. But, can't choose what missions you're on until you finish all the other ones before it. 18 shots fired. A few of them were blind shots trying to get that RD in the back corner. 10 hits, 10 penetrations, and 4 splashes. 5,140 damage overall, as I mentioned before, and 450 spotting. Now, it's not a tank that you normally get the spotting damage in, but I'll take it. 3,040 XP for the win, times 2, and 25,000 credits earned. It's kind of nice when you're not taking damage and you're not firing off the gold rounds. Now, I do find that the splash radius of the standard HE rounds on the 155 is horrible. I don't expect to even track something if you land next to them. generally speaking, the gold round is much better on this tank. It doesn't do any more if you do a direct hit. It still doesn't penetrate more, do more damage internally to the tank. However, those near misses, you're more than likely going to splash a couple of tanks at the same time. So, I hope you guys liked the review of the Batchat 155. I enjoyed doing the battle, and I enjoy bringing these to you guys. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you on the battlefield.